Edu Fagan. David is not only an award-winning author of bestsellers such as Gorilla Parenting, What to Say, How to Say, among others, but also an international speaker in places as far away as Dubai, Bangladesh, Australia, and well, Kenya. And to talk about birds of a feather, the man is married to Isabel Donadio Fagan, who is also a name to contend with in her own respect, being an author to bestsellers, among them 7 Ways and Big Ideas to Become Entrepreneurs. I may have mashed up that one, but also she's a co-author of Women Gone Wild. She's going to give us more concerning this as we talk about this. She's also the founder of Top Talent Agency, and today we get to interact with these fine sets of minds on matters peak performance. Isabel, David, welcome to our station.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go straight to it. I'm going to ask you, how is your experience in the country so far?
Yeah, it's great. You guys have wonderful people, big hearts, big smiles. They're so kind and genuine. We absolutely love it.
This is my first time being here, and it's just been a wonderful experience. Everyone's made me feel so welcome, and I'm just so looking forward to the remainder of this tour, the time that we're here, and eventually coming back.
And you're also living in interesting times. Maybe I'd like to also know, maybe concerning the activities that you involve in currently in the country.
Yeah, we are going around doing a speaking tour. We've brought some of our biggest and best clients. At Top Talent Agency, we represent speakers, authors, big-time business owners making a big difference in the world. So we've brought some of those best minds, some of those best communicators and inspiring individuals over here. So we were at Nairobi University today. We're going to be at Kisii University tomorrow and Kisii Polytechnic. Probably even coming back to Kenyatta on Monday, finalizing that now. So it's fun to see these students and their passion for life, and we want to connect them to the international business world and give them opportunities to kind of go to the next level.
And Isabel, I'm going to engage you now. Could you also share your reactions concerning the interactions that you've had with the students around the country so far?
Yeah, a lot of the conversations that we've been having have primarily been what are their biggest concerns that they've had, whether it comes to their studies, the time that they have, any stress levels that they've been dealing with, and sometimes it comes down to the monetary, being able to afford going to school and working as well. And a lot of the conversations that we've had directly with them, the speakers that they heard from today at the University of Nairobi, are different ways that they can engage the communities around them and looking for mentors and finding different ways to independently find unity with their, not just their student body, but with the people around them as well, going to the faculties and seeking mentorship.
And David, talking on matters education, I'm going to ask, what is your sentiment? I mean, going back some time back, there was a review on your book where there was a noting that it was Gorilla Parenting, where the Washington Post quoted a bit saying that, denoting that college as a waste of time in quotes per se. Now, I'd like to know if this stance is one that you still hold, and maybe you can be able to give us your perspective currently concerning education and it being as a way of paving way into the future of the youth, particularly in nations such as Kenya here.
Yeah. Well, to clear the record here, it's never been considered a waste of time. What I have said is we want to see people customize their education so that they can become self-reliant. And I think a lot of students feel like there's time wasted in high school, and there is some time even wasted in college where they're taking classes and courses that they maybe don't feel like directly affect them in the workforce. And so we want to help students take the classes that will get them the real skills, and even if they have done college, we want to get them into apprentice programs. We want to get them into internship programs, because so much of what they're learning is from textbooks that might be outdated. The world is changing so fast. The business community is changing so fast. We find that the most impactful thing that they can do on top of getting the education is very important, is to get into the workforce, even if it's an internship or an apprentice program.
And Isabel, I'm going to turn to you and also shift the question to you also in a same manner, because currently, if maybe you've been told about this, currently in Kenya, it was just something that was actually put out by the COVID pandemic. We are initiating like a new curriculum, the competency-based curriculum, something that rather than evaluate students on their memory power, we're actually seeing a new system which is evaluating the competency, the ability of students to execute certain tasks. Now, it is within an age where we're moving to a digital age. I don't know, what are your views concerning the impact of technology and rather the digital trends that are emerging on the education system currently?
Definitely when it comes to the evolution of technology, there is always a greater advantage when you have the latest tools and tech at your disposal, whether it comes to studies, when it comes to memorization, even when it comes to group studies, where even if you're not able to meet with other of your classmates in person, you're able to call them, you're able to FaceTime them, you're able to get on some kind of online portal so you can still have that study time to get further in your classes. Another way that is great with technology today as well is that for me personally, I have dyslexia. So it makes it very difficult for me to read competently all the way through all the time. So when I have the technology read to me as I'm reading along with it, it helps with my competency as well. So I know I'm not the only one who struggles with that. So yes, as technology advances, there is always a greater way to develop your competency, to develop your memorization, and to get further along, whether it is in your studies or in a mentorship program.
We use technology quite a bit. Isabel is editor-in-chief of her own magazine, Top Talent Magazine, but it's a digital magazine. If it was just print, that kind of gets thrown out. So we use a lot of digital flip technology for our books, for our magazines. We can also track how far they go into the book, how far they go into the magazines. So once we know what people are clicking on and what they're reading and how much time they spend on those articles and pages, we can also give people better content. We also have an online community called Top Talent Academy. So we have courses. We can see how far people go into the courses, how much of the videos they read. And again, that allows us to get even better at the information we're providing people, because we know about the click and the views and how long they're staying on and what they're most interested in. So technology is really helping us kind of track it so we can crack it.
And I'm going to ask you this now. In matters that are on a global perspective, most nations are grappling with a problem in matters of their economy. Even in Kenya currently, we have a very, very big problem with unemployment, specifically among the youth. Now, I'm not coming at you in an ambush mode, but David, you're my focus once more. Guerrilla parenting.
Yes,
there is something that you were quoted putting out, that the problem in society is an inability of parents to teach their kids to go after what they want. And looking at matters as they are right now, and parents are out here and they are curious, how can I be able to facilitate my child to go for what they want? Because there is the aspect of not trusting that this fellow knows what they want to begin with. How do I come about as a parent to settle into the fact that, or a possibility that, my child is going on a certain way and probably this is the best way, though I have alternative views?
Well, I'm a big proponent of entrepreneur education, and parents want more than anything for their kids to be self-reliant. They want them to be able to take care of themselves. And what we're encouraging parents to do is to help their kids try different things. And there are a lot of parents out there that are putting a lot of money into education in a lot of different countries. And what we're saying is some of that money could be put towards helping your kids start a business. Now, a couple things can happen if they start a business. One, they could have some success, or two, they could realize, wow, I don't know everything I need to know. Now I kind of better understand why I need to go to college. I need to better understand accounting. I need to better understand marketing. So now they have more of a genuine need and curiosity. So what we want parents to do is experiment with their kids, give their kids opportunities to fail. And parents are very tempted to rescue their children. And what I am a proponent of when I talk about in guerrilla parenting is just sometimes we got to let our kids fail, and sometimes we got to let our kids, not do well at something and not rescue them so that they can see where they're really at in the world. And then we as parents or educators can then start to fill in the blanks from there.
Mm-hmm. And coming to you, Isabel, like looking at everything as it is and the way David has put it out, the enterprising aspect, both of you come out as bestsellers, people who have actually been able to sell what they've been able to produce. Now, one thing that is of a major cause of concern is producing something, but bringing it to the market now becomes the issue, because the selling is where the money is. As in, if I exchange it, commerce happens, I get something back for it. I want to know your perspective, or rather your opinion, or rather your guidance, concerning how can you ensure you're proper at selling? How do you bring in those profits? What is the best way about it?
Something I'm a big proponent of is leverage. When you have a book done, when it's printed and you're holding it in your hand, you're sharing it around, what you're doing is that you have taken all of your knowledge and put it in a book. And the leverage comes from when you are in front of an audience, when you're in front of a group and you're talking about the things that you have excelled in, that you've put a lot of time and education into. So when you're talking in front of them, that book now becomes a tool for conversations. When someone reads your book, when they talk to you and they see the level of an expert that you are in your field and it relates to them, they hear what you're saying and they said, I need more of you in my life. That's when you find a client. That's when you find someone that you can take under your wing and train them and educate them. But the only way to really do that is to really get your feet wet, is to get that experience, is to have that knowledge. So yes, it does come from, some of it does come from college, some of it does come from, a majority of it from education. But when you are an apprentice to someone, when someone takes you under your wing and has that conversation with you, that's where the seeds are planted. That's where the fruit of your labor can really come into play. But really, the profits will come in when you leverage what you've done.
And Isabel, you also have a forte in content creation, things that even currently the country, with Kenya actually, coming back home, with a lot of widespread digital coverage, we are seeing a lot of like TikToks coming about. We're seeing a lot of memes being made. And actually in Kenya, if you were to look around even on Twitter, we are quite a first world country in matters of dealing with and answering even questions that would be tough on the Twitter space. So I'm going to ask you this. This is a lot of creativity coming about even from the youth. How can such creativity be channeled in a way that it's able to even generate something now back to them? Because it's a hobby, yes, it's something that is enjoyable, but can't it be something that can be in one way or another income generating?
There is a possibility for platforms like TikTok to be income generating, but that comes with the terminology of when you become, when you achieve the influencer status. Some people often wonder, when you become an influence, what are you influencing others to do? Some of it is, buying products. Some of it is promotional material. But when you create the content and you're putting the work into it, it becomes an art form. That's when you develop a fan base. That's when you develop people who will consistently follow you wherever it is that you go. So if you are a singer, if you're a dancer, if you are someone who is just in business sharing your insight, again, from being an apprentice to somebody, you gain trusted followers that will follow you wherever you go. And so when you get the opportunity to be on a stage, to get in front of a massive audience, you've now developed such a rapport that they can instantly trust you and lean into what it is that you're saying.
You're both literal gurus in matters of writing. And I'm going to talk concerning the matter of the muscle of words. Looking at your books, David, you have a book, Word Genius.
Yeah.
What to say, how to say it.
Yeah.
And Isabel, on the other end, you have another one, Becoming Significant, how to invoke sacred words that release real power. There is a power in words.
Yeah.
Now, looking at the fact that you're seemingly entrusted with this role of using these words in a matter of influencing people with actually reading your books, because they're actually able, as you have put it out, Isabel, they're able to absorb what you know through the generations. What do you think about this genre?
I think when it comes down to the language that we utilize from our family, from our friends, from our community, it directly correlates and impacts us because we are now striving to achieve more. No one is going to fight harder than yourself when you see the people around you and seeing the upbringing that you've had to overcome in order to get to where you are, to achieve that level of success. But words truly have an impact, whether you are speaking them out loud to somebody else or you're even saying them to yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you are not kind to yourself, if you are not encouraging to yourself, it will hurt your dreams. The same way if you were saying that to a friend, if you're saying that to a family member. Words of encouragement truly have a greater impact than any negativity that comes towards you or even you say to yourself.
David, I also like to hear your sentiments on that. How, because you're actually a speaker, you're using these words.
Yeah, so the book Word Genius, What to Say and How to Say It is really what we do for people. You know, we help business owners just learn how to talk about themselves. There's a real art to that. And there are good speakers out there that'll make you laugh or make you cry, but what is a really good speaker, what is a really good motivator is someone that can inspire action in every audience. You know, getting someone to click, getting someone to comment, getting someone to share, getting someone to register. And there's an art to this. It's persuasive writing. In our world, we might even call it copywriting. And it's an art. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs that get into business and they are serving the world, but they don't necessarily know how to communicate their talents. And so that's where we come in. We help them learn how to use different language patterns and delivery devices, emotional triggers, feeling phrases, so that they can inspire action. Because if you can't get somebody to actually do anything, it's going to be really hard to make an impact as a business owner. And that's what Isabel's talking about with TikTok and social media. One of the benefits of it is it takes out all the guesswork. When you start to talk about something, you instantly know if people like what you're saying because they're going to click on it, they're going to click share, they're going to click love, they're going to comment on it. So it used to be that we kind of guessed like, well, we think people like this, and we would spend all this money rolling it out to the marketplace. But what social media is doing for so many business owners and being a public speaker is doing for so many of us is we're instantly engaging with the audience and we're finding out, oh, they clapped that about that. Oh, they laughed at that. They liked that. I need to give them more of that. So there is an art to those things, and we teach our speakers that. We teach our clients that so they can do this, get on TV and they can speak in front of groups and they can start to change lives. But change happens with action, and so that's what the book Word Genius is all about.
And we're actually running out of time, but fortunately, we still have some time. And we're going to use this time to allow both of you to tell us about the purpose that you are on, and rather the agenda that you have as you go on through your campaign, even across the educational institutions in the country, and your engagement with the youth. What is your message to them? Because indeed, we are in a generation, a point where we are hungry for information.
Yeah.
And the problem is that for one reason or another, there's an influx of information to a point that what is true and what is untrue, what is correct, what is misguiding is all there. And unraveling all this is quite a troubling thing for a young person. I know I am one. So I'd like to also be part of the audience for a moment and get to know where you're headed with this, what you have for us.
Well, we want to connect business communities and talent all over the world. And because of the digital age, because of things like Zoom, more than ever before, we're able to do that. So we work with different media outlets in the U.S., like the Los Angeles Tribune or New York Weekly, USA Today. So we're going and we're meeting with people like you and talking to universities, and we're filling needs. The people in the U.S., they want to find new markets. They want to find new people to work with. They want to find out about cultures and new communities. And sometimes there's politics and bad news online. So we want to go out and make relationships with people like you and teachers, and we want to have foreign correspondents. We want to have boots on the ground so that when we want to talk about issues, we're not hearing it second and third hand. We can hear it right from the young people's mouths. So we're going to places like Kenya and Bangladesh. We were just in Thailand. We spent time in Europe. We hope to come back here again in March of next year so that we're not hearing things from other people, and we can connect these communities.
Isabella's sentiments and maybe how we can also be able to reach out to you as much as you're trying to reach out to us.
The impact that we've already seen is just absolutely extraordinary. The connections that we're having with these students, we see that they're hungry for education. We see that they're hungry for knowledge, for experience, for someone to guide them, not just whether it's business, but also having them connect with their passion, what they're passionate about. And that's what I love to see in every individual, but especially at university students. As we continue on, we just finished at the University of Nairobi. Next, we're going to Kisii University and Kisii Polytechnic, and I'm very excited for that as well, and especially to be coming back.
Indeed, unfortunately, due to time, we have to cut it short right here, but we'll be following up with you because we also need to know what you're on about and everything that will be playing out. We expect to have some feedback to be able to know each and everything that we can be able to absorb from you. We take a short break right here on KUTV Primetime News. In a moment, we have more reports for you.